Revenge of the Sith came out in May of 2005. So I have basically been mad for 15 years. If you were a teenage girl who liked Star Wars right around the time the prequels were coming out, you were probably pretty excited to meet Princess Leia's mother. And because you're a teenager and you don't understand that personality traits aren't genetic, you probably thought that she would be brave and witty and clever and a hero. And that's not what we got. Instead, Padme's character was basically created to be pretty, give birth, and then die. The thing that bothers me most is that there is one teeny tiny change in Revenge of the Sith that they could have made that would have saved Padme's character arc. Although I should be clear that by saved, I don't mean turned into a completely satisfying conclusion with cinematic integrity. I just mean made into less garbage. Okay, so you know that scene after Mustafar when Padme is about to give birth, and the medical droid comes out and says,
"Medically, she's completely healthy. For reasons we can't explain, we are losing her.
She's dying.
We don't know why. She has lost the will to live. We need to operate quickly if we are to save the babies."
Babies?
She's carrying twins.
Well, instead of that trash, how about it goes something like this?
Despite the damage to her circulatory and cardiovascular systems, somehow, she's fighting to stay alive.
She's dying.
Yes, we think she's trying to hold on so we're able to safely deliver the babies.
Babies?
She's carrying twins, idiot.
Isn't that so much better? Let her go out on a strong note instead of just giving up and dying because she's sad. And I know that some people theorize that Palpatine stole Padme's life force in order to keep Anakin alive and turn him into Darth Vader. And while that would have a nice symmetry with, in Rise of Skywalker, Ben Solo giving his energy to Rey to bring her back to life, I don't think that's what happened. I think George Lucas just didn't know how to resolve the storyline. Because if Padme had lived, that would have had ramifications that would have needed to be addressed in the very limited remaining screen time. So he needed Anakin to believe that he had killed her and the baby without actually having killed her and the baby, but for Padme to still die, even though none of it 100% made sense. So that's the one small change that they could have made that really only would have entailed changing the voiceover of a robot in one scene. But there are a couple of other things that they could have changed along the way that would have made Padme's character just more compelling overall. They had a plotline where Padme and several other senators launched what would eventually become the rebellion, but that got cut. It got filmed, but it got cut. There was an even better dropped plot that only made it as far as the concept art, where Padme goes to Mustafar to kill Anakin because she realizes that he's become a monster and that she's probably the only one who can get close enough to him to end it. But ultimately, she can't go through with it, and then Anakin lashes out at her with the Force. Which makes way more sense than Anakin being mad at her because Obi-Wan stowed away on her ship. By the way, while we are on the topic, they dropped in that Obi-Wan Padme jealousy way too late in the game. They should have been writing that plot thread from the very beginning. It would have made total sense for Padme to have a crush on Obi-Wan in The Phantom Menace, and for Anakin, even though he was a little boy, to notice and feel jealous about it. And then in Attack of the Clones, they bring an old friend of Padme's to help guard over her, but it's not the Padawan Anakin, it's the Jedi Knight Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then later in the movie, Padme is the one who tells Anakin that they need to go after Obi-Wan to rescue him. And in Revenge of the Sith, there is a cutscene where Padme is meeting with the other senators who she's creating the rebellion with, And she tells them that there is one Jedi who she knows she can trust. And in the novelization of Revenge of the Sith, we find out that that Jedi is not Anakin, it's Obi-Wan. So there was an entire rich field of dynamic inter-character relationship conflicts that they did not harvest, which I think is a dumb decision, because then we could have had some actual recurring plot threads instead of just me grasping at individual straws in my greedy little hands, trying desperately to make these movies make sense. I'm wearing red lipstick today. Red lipstick makes me sassy. Is it a dog? It's a lot of dogs. Those dogs are also mad about what happened to Padme's character.